When we die, do we keep our identity and continue our relationships with people whom we love, like our spouse, children, parents, siblings, relatives, and friends? Or do we return to Earth through a process of reincarnation? If we are reincarnated many times, what happens to our memories of the many lives and relationships we experienced? What do we make of the conflict between testimonies of enduring personal identity in the spirit world versus memories of reincarnation? My topic today is The Beautiful Gifts of the Spirit World, Part 3, the gifts of identity, personality, and loving relationships. This presentation is the third of 7 videos. The emphasis on love in testimonies about the spirit world may present a conundrum to those who believe in reincarnation, because when we love someone, we don't want to lose them. If our beloved reincarnates with a different identity, with no memory of us, then we have lost them as surely as if they had disappeared into the atheist void. Still, reincarnation is sincerely believed in by millions of very intelligent individuals, perhaps because of doctrinal upbringing, or perhaps because of the phenomena of regressive memories of past lives. I believe that regressive memories are not the memories of the individuals who recall them, but instead find their source elsewhere. If that is true, then how do past life memories get embedded in individuals? Are past life memories adequate proof of reincarnation? Or could they be the result of some other phenomenon? I believe that possible explanations of past life memories include the following. 1. Reincarnation is true. 2. A person unconsciously taps into the knowledge bank of the universe, also known as the Akashic Records, and receives memories of the lives of individuals who have passed on to the spirit world. This could be a variant of ancestral memories. If the quantum universe is non-local and holographic, then perhaps it is relatively easy to connect to memories of other individuals under certain circumstances. 3. A person under hypnosis might open a door to the direct influence of spirits who are present in the room or who arrive during the session, and thus receive the memories of those spirits. 4. The memories of past lives are incidents of false memory syndrome, or a mashup of imagination, personal memories, and inadvertent suggestions by the therapist influenced by the subject's desire to experience memories of past lives. There are other, more outre explanations of past life memories, but I think the list that I've mentioned has some valid possibilities. Determining whether or not reincarnation is true is important if one considers the value of love in relationships. Thus, instead of simply exploring an evidence-based approach to the question of permanent identity versus reincarnation, I think it is equally powerful to examine the issue from the point of view of spiritual logic. No matter what their religion or belief system, all individuals share a deep-rooted, although sometimes unconscious desire to create and build relationships of love. I think that many people would agree with the idea that we want our relationships of joyful love to continue forever, rather than the alternative prospect of loving someone deeply, a child, a spouse, a parent, or a friend, and then reaching a point where that person no longer exists as an individual with the mind, heart, character, and personality that we've grown to love. I thought that the movie, What Dreams May Come, was a brilliant depiction of a man's search for his beloved soulmate through the various levels of the spirit world. The man, played by the late Robin Williams, finally finds his wife, who had committed suicide, and then saves her and brings her to the upper realms, where they are both united with their children who had also died. However, I was disappointed when the final scene of the movie showed the husband and wife back on Earth, reincarnated as children with no memories of what had gone before. I believe that it is a natural and logical desire for human beings to want to stay with the persons whom they love and stay with them forever. If one thinks that humans are all meant to endlessly reincarnate until they reach a stage of blissful non-individuality, merged with the divine, where everyone simply is, rather like a large pot of soup, then one might ask why God bothered to spend billions of years creating an immense and variegated universe where each individual is utterly unique as snowflakes and flowers and animals of all types. To me, that seems like a huge waste of time, considering that supposedly the large pot of soup existed before God created the universe. Why go through all of those eons of suffering to come back to a pot of soup? What's the point? I really do say this with respect for those individuals who believe in reincarnation. To me, however, it makes much more sense to believe that every individual is a unique soul, a priceless and eternal part of God who is born to live in a vibrant relationship of love with God forever and live in eternal relationships of love with parents, siblings, a spouse, children, relatives, ancestors, and countless friends. The alternative prospect of reincarnation, of knowing that one day our individual personalities, identities, histories, and memories will be overwritten and erased by a new identity, seems cruel and illogical from the point of view that loving relationships have eternal value and thus should last forever. Those relationships of love are given substance by the real and ongoing personality of each individual. When we love a person who has a name, a personality, a history, and many unique attributes, we love that person quite specifically. Their individuality is what makes the relationship of love unique. I believe that God loves each of us as unique, eternal, individual personalities with names that God knows very well. In fact, I believe that God continues to love every person who was ever born, individuals both famous and unknown, individuals with identities and personal histories who have enduring relationships with friends and family members. The late medium Susie Smith wrote many books, among them the Book of James, William James, that is, Conversations from Beyond. Whether one believes or not that the messages in the book actually came from the American psychologist and author of The Varieties of Religious Experience, a study in human nature, the content of the messages is fascinating. Smith's book includes some unpublished messages from William James that were received by a British medium named Maud V. Underhill. In Underhill's manuscript, The Upward Path, James states, "Man lives his life on earth for one reason, and one reason only, to individualize himself and establish his identity and character." Smith then commented, "In the script received by Miss Underhill from James, it is expressed this way: each individual soul can be likened to a unit, a cell in the mind of God, which must ultimately become aware of all the living truth." In Smith's messages in the chapter Reincarnation, James writes, "It would not be possible for anyone to live a number of lives as different people and come out of it still aware of his personal identity, It is easy to say that he lives the different lives as if he were in progressing grades at school, but this is not the way the system works. When one goes through school, he always retains his awareness of himself as the same individual, even though many of his aspects change as he grows and develops. When one is living a life, he is that person. He is not just playing a role or a series of roles. So, if he were to go through the lifetimes of a variety of different people, he would end up completely confused about his identity. It is bad enough to have to cope with the memories of one lifetime. Imagine how complicated it would be to have to face those of 2 or more lives and sort them out and try to get them straight. It is so befuddling that you can't even conceive of it. These references to individuality, identity, and memory are logical supports to the view that each person lives for eternity in the spirit world as a unique reflection of God with a specific identity. Perhaps the most momentous gift of the spirit world is the realization that our relationships with all those whom we love, including God and people, continue forever. Because we all live for eternity as unique and sacred individuals. Based on the premise that the atmosphere of the spirit world resonates with love, living as an individual does not necessarily mean that we live selfishly, centered only on ego. When we, as distinct individuals, with our own set of talents, gifts, memories, and experiences, decide to live unselfishly, with kindness and compassionate love as our core desires, then I believe that the parts of our personalities that make each of us unique become all the more beautiful. In other words, there's nothing wrong with being me, as long as we become a me who doesn't harm others. Which leads to the next great gift, that of freedom. This concludes part 3 of the 7 talks. The next video will be part 4, the gift of freedom to be oneself and the gift of time. Thank you for watching. I invite you to subscribe, leave a comment, click on the like button, and share this video with 2 or more friends. I also invite you to become a patron of the arts and visit my webpage at patreon.com/Peter Falkenberg Brown, where you will have the opportunity to support this video channel by donating a small or larger amount each month. You can follow me on Twitter at @FalkenBrown and email me at peterbrown@worldcommunity.com. I'm very grateful for all your support. I could not do it without you. So, until next time, love and blessings, and thank you.